Planting vegetables offer a holistic set of benefits, ranging from improved nutrition, to environmental sustainability, community building, and personal well-being. Here are 7 of the easiest vegetables to plant in the spring. 1. Lettuce. Lettuce is a cool season crop that grows well in spring. You can plant lettuce as soon as the soil can be worked and temperatures consistently stay above freezing. Lettuce prefers cool temperatures and will often bolt or go to seed in response to warm weather, so aim to plant it early in the spring before temperatures become too hot. In some regions, lettuce can also be planted in the fall for a late-season harvest. Lettuce can be directly sown in the garden or started indoors and transplanted. Starting seeds indoors and transplanting seedlings in the garden will give you a good head start on the growing season. Lettuce seeds should be sown in well-drained soil with a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. This will help to prevent root rot, fungal diseases, and encourage healthy root development. Lettuce typically thrives in full sun or partial shade. In cooler climates, lettuce can tolerate more sun exposure, but in warmer regions, providing some shade during the afternoon will help to prevent heat stress. If you're growing lettuce in containers, consider placing the containers where they receive morning sun but are shaded during the hottest part of the day. Remember to thin the lettuce seedlings to ensure proper spacing. This will produce healthier plants, with higher yields, and a more successful lettuce crop. To harvest lettuce, remove individual leaves by cutting them near the base. This allows for a continuous harvest as the inner leaves continue to grow. You can also cut the entire plant when it reaches the desired size. 2. Radishes. Radishes are quick-growing and can be ready to harvest in just a few weeks. They are best suited for direct sowing, so starting them indoors is not necessary. Radishes prefer cool weather, making them well-suited for spring planting. But they are also suitable for planting in the fall for flavorful addition to fall and winter meals. Sow radish seeds directly in loose, well-drained soil. This can be achieved by incorporating organic matter like compost to improve soil structure and drainage. Radishes prefer full sun but can also tolerate partial shade. They also benefit from regular and even moisture, especially during specific stages of their growth. Thin seedlings to allow room for the roots to develop. Radishes mature quickly, usually within 3 to 4 weeks. Harvest when the roots are about 1 inch in diameter. 3. Spinach. Spinach is another cool season vegetable. It thrives in cool weather and can be planted early in spring, about 4 to 6 weeks before the last expected frost date. While spinach prefers full sun, it also has some tolerance for partial shade. In warmer climates, providing afternoon shade can help extend the growing season. Spinach can also be planted in late summer for a fall harvest. They can be directly sown in the garden. However, in colder climates, you can start seeds indoors and transplant seedlings for an earlier start. Sow spinach seeds in well-drained, fertile soil with a slightly acidic to neutral pH. Water regularly to prevent bolting, bitterness, and other stress-related issues. Add mulch to help retain soil moisture, suppress weeds, enrich the soil, and regulate soil temperature. Harvest before the weather gets too hot to prevent bolting. To harvest, pick the outer leaves when they reach a usable size, to allow the inner leaves to continue growing, or cut the entire head at the base using a sharp knife. 4. Carrots. Carrots are relatively easy to grow, and are normally planted in the spring once the soil has warmed up and has become workable. However, carrots can also be planted in late summer for a fall harvest. Carrots are typically directly sown in the garden to promote healthy root development and achieve well-formed, flavorful carrots. Their long taproots make them less suitable for transplanting, which can disrupt the natural growth of their roots, resulting in misshapen or stunted growth. Loose, well-drained soil is essential for straight, healthy root development. This can help carrots to achieve their full potential in terms of size and flavor. When planting carrots, sow seeds directly in the garden, and ensure the soil is free of rocks or hard clumps. Keep the soil consistently moist during the germination period. Thin seedlings to allow space for the carrots to develop. Harvest carrots when they reach the desired size, typically 50 to 75 days after planting. 5. Peas. Peas are a cool season crop that can be planted directly in the garden. They are usually planted in early spring as soon as the soil can be worked. However, they can also be planted in late summer for a fall harvest. Peas have delicate root systems, so transplanting can disturb their growth. That is why it is best to plant them directly in your garden. You can build trellises to support your pea plants as they grow. Trellising promote healthier plants, reduce the risk of diseases, and simplify the harvesting process. Plant peas directly in well-drained soil with a slightly acidic to neutral pH. Water consistently, especially during flowering and pod development, to promote healthy plants, enhance pod development, and maximize the yield and quality of the harvested peas. Add mulch to help retain soil moisture and keep the roots of your pea plants cool. Harvest peas when the pods are plump and the peas inside are tender. Six. Broccoli. Broccoli is another cold-tolerant vegetable that can be planted in early spring. Start broccoli seeds indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost or sow directly in the garden. Transplant seedlings into the garden once they are sturdy enough. Broccoli seeds can also be directly sown in the garden. In some regions, they can also be planted in late summer for a fall harvest. When transplanting, provide adequate spacing between broccoli plants, usually around 18 to 24 inches apart in rows spaced 2 to 3 feet apart. Choose a well-drained, fertile soil. Broccoli also need consistent moisture. You can use mulch to help retain soil moisture, regulate temperature, and enrich the soil. Protect young plants from pests like aphids and cabbage worms by encouraging natural predators such as ladybugs, lacewings, and parasitic wasps. By spraying with a heavy stream of water, applying neem oil, etc. Harvest broccoli heads when they are firm and tight. Cut the main head, and side shoots will continue to produce smaller florets. 7. Kale. Kale is a hardy leafy green that can be planted in early spring. While kale can be directly sown in the garden, starting seeds indoors and transplanting seedlings can provide an early start and protection from pests such as aphids and cabbage worms. Kale is relatively low maintenance and can withstand cooler temperatures. Therefore, they can also be planted in late summer for a fall harvest, and in mild climates, can even be overwintered for a spring harvest. Plant kale seeds directly in well-drained, fertile soil for a bountiful and nutritious harvest. Kale can tolerate some shade but prefers full sun. Water regularly, especially during dry spells, to ensure the optimal growth, development, and quality of your kale plants. Mulch can also help to retain soil moisture and keep the soil cool. Harvest the outer leaves of your kale plants when they reach a usable size, leaving the central leaves to encourage continued growth. Kale generally thrives in cooler temperatures and can become sweeter after a light frost. When planting vegetables, be sure to consider your local climate and follow the recommended planting guidelines for your specific region. Also, using tools like frost dates and local gardening resources can help you determine the optimal planting schedule for your area. Additionally, provide proper soil, water, and sunlight for the best results. Keep in mind that starting seeds indoors gives you better control over growing conditions and can extend the growing season. Always remember that some vegetables, like radishes and carrots, are well suited for direct sowing, and transplanting may not be practical due to their root structures. Following these guidelines should help you have a successful and bountiful harvest. Happy gardening! Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe.